Hello everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Max from the Indusville Idea Lab and Library. In today's session, we are going to expand on our original Pygame Zero demo to make a more exciting game. Alright, let's get started. In the last session, we made a little sliding robot animation where if you click on his belly, he makes a little eep sound, but that's it. And so the plan today is to make this into a more interesting game type thing. And my plan is this. Imagine a world where there's an evil robot assembly line and only a cute little alien can save the planet by turning all the robots into other cute little aliens. That's the game we're going to make in, some form. And so let's start by closing this guy here. First things first, the alien is going to become our player number one. And so instead of this generic alien name, let's call him our player. And we don't really need this right now. And so if I select a chunk of code, I can press Control or Command K and comment it out. So this little hashtag symbol, which you can just type, a little hashtag symbol, makes it so that this code doesn't run. It's invisible to the game 100%. So if I don't want that to run right now, I comment it out. Moving on. In the game, there's going to be a list of robots, or a bunch of robots that fly across the screen. So I'm going to make an empty list, my robot list, and assign it to an empty list. In Python, an empty list is created by these two square brackets, left and right. So that's that. Our screen right now is pretty small. I know the robot image I want to use is 120 pixels tall. So instead of making it only, whatever tall this is, I'm going to make it about 6 robots high. So that would be 768 pixels tall. Make it a little square. So this will be the size of the screen, which ties into the size of my robot in a way, which you shall see. Okay. So to draw our player, we don't have this alien in the game anymore, so we're going to call it our player. And then from here on out, let's just actually comment most of these things out here because we're going to have to make some changes as we go. So I selected everything and then Command or Control K comments them all out so they don't run in the code at all. What I do want to happen though is I want to show off how we're going to control our player. And so to control our player, we're going to pull the exact movement of the mouse. And so Pygame Zero has a bunch of built-in event hooks that we can use to handle certain things. And so we're going to define a function on mouse move. This particular function is calling a built-in aspect of Pygame Zero. So we have to name it exactly like this, on mouse move. We're going to grab that mouse's position. And what we're going to do is pretty simple. We're going to ask for the attribute of our player's center. So anything on the right side of this dot is something that belongs to the player. The player is this actor object, and all actors have a center. And so we can set that center to simply equal the position of the mouse. And so this will capture the mouse's movement, figure out what position it's at, and then put that into the player center, or make that equal to player center. Okay, so let's see how that works. Woo, there we go. So first here we have our big game board. We have our alien moving around, following our mouse perfectly. And so this demonstrates one of the advantages to Make Code Arcade. And Make Code Arcade, I don't think you can access the position of the mouse. What we are doing here, though, is something that you can actually compare and contrast from what we did make in Make Code Arcade, because the plan is to have a flying stream of robots here on this kind of evil robot assembly line. And so very similar to our Dodge the Ducks game, it's going to consist of a character moving across the screen from left to right, and then your player trying to interact with them in some way. Now, of course, in this game, the alien is going to try to convert the robots into other friendly aliens, but some of the movement you can use as a direct comparison to see how we made a very similar game using a different tool. So we'll close that for now. Okay, So far so good. Our alien moves across the screen, which is great. So now it's probably a good idea to make some robots. So we're going to make a make robot function right over here. And so when I press enter, of course, as you've seen, it automatically indents it. The indentation makes sure that whatever we put here belongs to what was on top of it there. Okay, so I want our robot to start at a particular point from top to bottom and then move to the right. So top to bottom values are the y-axis. And so we're going to pick a little y starter, a little starting point, and we're going to choose a random number, so random integer, from the numbers including 0 to 6, because again I know that 768 is about 6 robots tall. And so the random module is something we need to bring in. It's a built-in function. It comes with Python. We just need to ask for it. So we're going to import random, and this will make the random module available here, where we can pull in one of its built-in methods, the random integer method. Okay, and so we're going to define a brand new actor. We're going to just call it robot, and it'll be an actor using the graphic robot idle. And so the robot idle graphic I know is in my images folder because I put it there. And if you would like it to use as well, in the tune characters from kenny.nl, you can find a little robot. And so this is a free asset that you can download and pull out the robot character or any number of characters. There's a little Frankenstein there, which could be fun in a game like this. And of course, if you want to see the finished version of the code, head to github.com/mlupo/idealab_codejams. The code will be put there shortly. Okay, and so robot idle is the graphic I'm using. I put it in quotes here so that Pygame Zero knows what to look for. And now my actor, we're going to do some fun stuff. We're kind of going to borrow this a little bit because we're not moving our alien anymore, or not making any more aliens. But we can use it here. I want my robot, as soon as it's created, I want its top right corner to be off the, for the robot to be off the screen, its top right corner will be given the X position of 0, which means everything to the left of that will be off screen. And its Y position, well, that's the fun part. We're going to take our Y start variable that we define, which will be a random number from 0 to 6, and we're just going to multiply it by 128, because again, robots that we have are about 128 pixels tall. And then we're going to look for our robot list, and we're going to append to it our robot character here. So robot list, and a built-in method of the list object is append. We're going to add to the list our robot that we just made. So making a robot is one thing, but in order to run this function, we need to call it. The on-mouse move is called automatically by Pygame Zero. It runs automatically. But in order for make robot to actually happen, we need to call it in our code. And so we're going to call it using the clock callback. If you remember, we used a callback with our set alien hurt to every once in a while set our alien back to normal. But we're going to, instead of doing a unique event, we're going to schedule something on an interval. So the clock is built into Pygame Zero, and then we're going to schedule on an interval, making a robot. So when we're using it as a callback here, we don't need to put the parenthesis. Typically when calling functions, you would need to put these brackets, but not right now. We're just going to put the callback in there as the function name, and then we're going to say that's going to happen every 0.5 seconds. It's going to call make robot, and it's going to put all the robots on like a very particular spot. It's going to put all the robots tight to the left-hand side of the screen. Or not even, because we didn't even ask it to draw. And so, as you see, the robots are being made, and as you don't see, the robots are not on the screen because we haven't asked them to even be drawn yet. And so let's do that. Let's make sure our robots are drawn. What we need to do is go through our robot list. We're adding all our robots to this robot list. So we need to go through it one at a time. So for each actor, because this is a temporary variable that we're just going to call actor, because each robot is itself an actor. You can name that anything that's more clear to you, but for each actor, for each robot, for each actor in the robot list. So we put another colon there at the end of our for statement. And then when we press enter, this is also indented by 4 spaces automatically for us, because we only want this code here to happen in the for loop that we add next. So for each actor in the robot list, let's draw that actor. So actor dot draw. And then for the robots to actually be generated, we need to uncomment our update function, because the game doesn't move unless it's updated. So we're going to select that and press Control or Command K again. And so we don't got no alien anymore, but we want to move our robots in a very similar way. So sure, once again, for each actor in the robot list, we're going to indent this so it happens inside the for loop. Each actor, we're going to move left, a little faster, let's say. And then when the actor is greater than the width of the screen, once they're off the screen, we're actually going to remove them from the robot list so that they aren't drawn anymore. Because we don't want to have 1,000 robots off the screen, kind of slowing down our game. So we're going to remove that actor. So we're digging into our robot list, removing the actor that we've moved off the screen. And then when we're going through a list and then removing things from it, that's a little dangerous. So we're going to actually go through a copy of the list. A built-in method on the list object is copy. So we're going to go through a copy of the list and then remove the actor from the main list. So the next time this runs, the actor is not there. We go through a copy of the list because if you're counting from 1 to 10, let's say, if someone deletes the number 7 while you're counting, that makes it kind of awkward to try to get to number 10. And so we make a copy of the list, go through it, remove the actor from the original list, and so they don't draw anymore. At this point, the actor robots should be able to move across the screen. There we go. Nothing happens when we click on them because we haven't asked for anything to happen yet. And our alien's underneath the robots, which I'm not a fan of because, you know, our alien is our main character. So let's close that and solve some problems. So player draw happens here in the middle. The draw function moves top down. So it draws the background, draws the player, and then on top of that draws our robots. So if we just move that to be the last thing we draw, copy and paste that down here, and outside of the for loop, our player will be drawn on top of the robots. And then on top of that, well, we need to make our robot clickable. So we already have the on mouse down function, which is great. We're going to uncomment that. So on mouse down. And once again, we need to double check the position of all our robots. So for actor in robot list. So for each one of those actors, if the actor collide point matches the position of our on mouse down, we're going to set our robot hurt. And so I've renamed this here where we run the function. So we're going to go back into here, uncomment that, set robot hurt. And this is where things get a little interesting. So in the same way that we're trying to access each actor's collide point, we also need to make sure we only change to set robot hurt the actor that we're working with in the robot list. And so we're going to pass to it that temporary variable here, and then put a placeholder in here for the robot that we want to be hurt. And so let's call our little robo. So our little robo, we're going to change that image to alien hurt, because again, the point is of the game that we are converting this evil robots on the assembly line to be friendly, cute aliens. And so the robo image changes to alien hurt, plays the same eep sound, and then that's that. I think that's about it. We can delete this function because we're not using it anymore. Okay, so let's see if it all pans out. alien here. There we go. So the goal of the game is to turn all the robots into cute aliens before they get to the edge of the screen. Oh no! Well, we haven't made that in our game, and I'll probably leave that for you to discover what happens if a robot flies off the screen, what should happen in your game. But for us for now, we made a pretty convincing robot assembly line. We have a cute little alien who's trying his darndest to make sure none of those robots make it out of the factory. And so yes, if you make any really exciting changes to the game, please share them with us at the library. Also, if you have any ideas for future games or future concepts you'd like to explore, please feel free to share those with us as well. Thanks so much for watching.